I've been cross-posting some of my content to YouTube, and I've actually gotten some really good comments and had some really interesting conversations with people over there on red pill methodology and dating. This is one of those comments, and I was hoping to make a video response to it to answer it in the hopes that we could really further this conversation, because there's a lot to say about it. The first thing I want to say is I believe this person is engaging in good faith, so I am responding in good faith, and I don't want to see shit happening in the comments directed at this person. When it comes down to it, this person has some really excellent points, and my hope is that by making a video response to it, it will help further the conversation and allow for more of these like good faith conversations about this subject. The first thing I think it's important to do is define this methodology, because this, to me, from where I'm seeing it, gets into the weeds. I'm researching in the authoritarian personality, and so when I look at this methodology and red pill ideology in general, I'm seeing elements of the authoritarian personality. The first thing I want to note is, regardless of the nitty-gritty of it, it is a behaviorist model, which I'm not the most okay with. And I'm going to really go into that thoroughly. It might actually take another video because I think it's important to talk about. Within the authoritarian personality, there is a very specific viewpoint of the opposite sex, whether you are a man or a woman. And that viewpoint involves this like surface level, like pseudo admiration that can be kind of effusive. And then underneath it is this like very deep well of contempt. You really see this intensively within like red pill and black pill culture. The use of the word females instead of women. The use of the word femoids instead of women. And consistently pushing this idea that all women across the board are the same and they are looking for the same type of person. The primary audience for this content is lonely, young, impressionable men. But if they buy into this model and somehow they end up using it and get married, if their default position is that all women are the same, they don't end up having an individualized respect and fondness for their spouse. And that's just going to compound their loneliness over time, because true emotional intimacy kind of really requires that when it comes to a relationship as intimate as a marriage. Additionally, a lot of red pill content views sex as a means of obtaining status, which is also directly aligned with the authoritarian personality. And that in itself is very dangerous. That, along with an inability to get emotional intimacy from anything but sex, is kind of the basis for the incel ideology. Incel ideology and PUA ideology are very similar. They are kind of two sides of the same coin. The only thing that really separates them is incels view anything to make yourself more attractive to the opposite sex as a cope, and they refuse to do it. They believe the world should change for them, that they shouldn't have to change for the world. And sometimes this is something as basic as showering. But when you see all these government mandated program plans for incel wives, this is what we're looking at. So to sum up, I am viewing the PUA ideology as being a behaviorist model that involves a pseudo-admiration covering deep repulsion for women, and views them as being fairly homogenous on the whole, underpinned by sex as a means of obtaining status. On to part 2, I guess.